What is up, guys? What's up? All right, so we're gonna get into a little bit more in depth with the Collective Minds Eliminator kit, specifically for Rainbow Six Siege, because that's what I play a lot. This will typically apply for any other game out there: Fortnite, Call of Duty, the Warzone, everything that you can think of. I mean, just about they have the games, so the mods are going to work pretty similarly. I want to specifically address some of the questions that people had about trying to adjust like anti-recoil and how to switch back and forth from profile to profile. People have a lot of questions about that, and it is a little confusing at first, and that's like the biggest hurdle when you're trying to figure it out. But it's really easy. If you watch my last video, I go through the mod menu pretty extensively, but we're going to do it again. So the first thing you do when you get your ModPack, we're going to unplug it. So first thing you do when you get your ModPack, you're going to plug it in. And when you plug it in and you have the mod pass, it will tell you Collective Minds Eliminator for Xbox One or whatever you're using. If you're using PS4, it'd be that. But important thing to do to get it to work correctly is to not have it connected to the actual controller. See, there's a little prong there. Take it out of the controller when you're trying to do your mods. Once you're done with your mods, you're going to plug this part. You're going to plug this part back into your controller. So start with it out of your controller or it won't work, and then you're ready to go. So, all right, let's go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Open Available Mod Packs. And for mine, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can add this window. Let me see if I can add this window. I keep forgetting that it doesn't really, it picks up each individual window. So I apologize for that. I apologize for that. All right. So we'll do that. So what you see right here is when you press that button, you will get available mod packs. And right now, this is the standard one that comes with every single game. Once you plug it in, there's going to be a standard like manual one that's going to be right here as the F. It's always going to have a standard one, but when you find out the game that you want to choose, like for example, if I wanted to choose a different game, see right here, you got Advanced Shooter, you got Anthem, Apex Legends, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, Borderlands, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Black Ops Game Pack, Blackout Game Pack, Modern Warfare 2019, Warzone. So if you want to do Warzone, you can do that as well. There's a ton of games. Fortnite, there's a ton of games that you can use this mod pack for. So just check out the game you want to look at. The next one I'll probably be messing with is the World War Z, because I love that game. It's fun, and I'd like to see how the mods work with that game. So for example, we're just going to go to Rainbow Six Siege, and you're going to click on this icon here, and that is going to open up the next menu. Let me get that next menu for you so you can see it. Let's see, mod configurator. Boom. All right, let me drag this on top so you can see what I'm talking about as we go along. All right, so basically here is how you're going to configure your mods for your profile. So for example, when you start out up here, the button layout needs to be default. So whatever you're using in game. So like for example, in game, I just use the default settings for the controller layout. So I leave this as default and default. If you change it to something else here, like for example, if I put default lefty and in game I just have regular default, none of these mods will work. So you have to make sure you mirror them and you'll be all right. So global mods are something that's going to happen. They're going to be activated at all times unless you completely deactivate mods. So what I usually go for is operator mod and hair trigger mod. The reason why I do that is because the operator mods usually there's like a pre-profile for each operator that they support. They don't have all the operators yet. They need to update it, I think, to keep up with the game and how often they change seasons and add new characters. So that's something they can work on. But I just usually keep both of them on, operation mods and hair triggers. Hair triggers is really awesome in this game. You have an auto run option. You have a weapon fire activation. I keep mine always activated. Anti-recoil mode. I keep mine on ADS, anti-recoil, and quick edit. Quick edit, the feature that the quick edit is going to allow you to help adjust your anti-recoil mode while in game. And this is very important because different weapons are going to have different fire rates and different rapid fires. So keep that on quick edit. Profile switch mode, I keep mine on manual. You can, as you can see, you can switch your profiles with the weapon swap. It's up to you. I keep mine on manual because there's a way to switch your profiles to me that's easier. But it is what it is. On operator, I leave it disabled because we already have it enabled right here on global mods. So profile 1, this is where you can set up everything that you want, your rapid fire, all your other mods. So let's go click on 2. So you have regular fire, rapid fire, dynamic fire. I usually just keep it on rapid fire. And profile 1, class 2, I have mine on ADS strafe fire, and that's going to give you that zigzag mode. Like when you're firing, you're moving all around, you're crouching and doing all this stuff. It's a lot harder to hit you, but also it's a lot harder to control your recoil and your actual shooting profile, because when you're crouching, your profile, your shooting height is going to change. When you're strafing back and forth, your target profile is also going to change. So it's really hard to make sure you're staying center on your target when you're using strafe mode. So it's a pro and a con. The more you play with that, the better you get. Now, in my opinion, it works really well just because it kind of throws off the enemy. But in a way, they kind of have the advantage a little bit because they don't have to aim as hard to hit you. But with you, I don't know, it kind of balances out in a way. It just depends on your play style. I like it because, I don't know, I like it because it just makes me a little harder to hit. And it kind of surprises them at first too, because they don't really, they're off guard and they're kind of just like, oh shit, well, where do I aim to hit them? So it kind of gives you that little edge and you got to just hit them first. But they have different ones, rapid crouch fire, strafe fire. I used ADS strafe fire, but so when I'm aiming down sights and start shooting, it'll activate. Because if you use regular strafe fire, it'll automatically start doing it. You have ADS sway fire, ADS lean fire, ADS lean shot, auto ADS, ADS sway. Let me see if there's another one. My bad. So the auto ADS is pretty dope in a way, because like whenever you shoot, it will automatically aim down sight. So it's kind of like a quick shot in a way. The only bad thing about that is that if you're not in this game, stealth is a big thing. So it doesn't really, I don't know, depending on your play style. So like say you're crouching and you're creeping through a part of the map, and normally to peek a door or to peek an open spot, you just hold your ADS button and you wait. With this one, if you have auto ADS, it will literally just activate every time you shoot. So it's like a quick scope. That's the best way I can explain it. Let's see. I have the auto lean on there as well. Help you auto lean. There's a snapshot, snap burst, crouch aim, rapid crouch aim. Somebody said something about the rapid crouch aim is not working. You just have to make sure that on your profile you have the right buttons selected. Now this is where the vertical, my recoil settings are right now. I've been doing a lot of testing for a majority of the weapons, and for the majority of the weapons and operators that I use, this setting is actually really good. I do 33 on the vertical and a +1 on the horizontal. So when you're in game, you can adjust your vertical line of fire and also your side-to-side fire, because if you're using like a semi-automatic, it's not going to just go straight. Whenever you fire a gun, there's going to be upwards and rotate, left and right fire rates if you're trying to rapid fire. So to control that, that's how you need to change it. Now, the biggest thing when you're changing your I guess your anti-recoil, when you, first of all, to activate your mods, you're going with this exact one. You're going to hold this button down and you're going to change your profile with this. So you would hold this one down and you would press this, boom. So if you have two profiles, you just press it and it will show you based on the LEDs here at the front. So these LEDs will go from 1 to 2. I don't know if it's gonna let me do it now since it's not really connected, but we can try. No, it's not gonna let me do it yet. All right, so that's how you change your profiles. Left, hold it down, change it with your profile. And when you do that, your alien man will turn green and white. It'll blink green and white. So I'll try to see if I can show you in a second. So when you're actually in game and you want to change your anti-recoil, all you're gonna do is hold your left trigger, and then on the front you're going to press on your D-pad while holding your trigger. You're gonna press up and down on the D-pad. So if you're pressing up, that means you want to raise your recoil to go up. If you want to adjust your recoil to make it go down, so when you're auto spraying or you're auto firing, it doesn't go whoop up the wall, you want to adjust your fire rate to go down. And it's a lot easier when you hold the left trigger and you start to fire. You need to go to a mode where you can test yourself out, like terrorist hunt. While you're firing, you need to be pressing that button up, down. You can even adjust it left to right as well. So you'll waste a lot of ammo. That's why I say go to terrorist hunt so you can dial it in. And a lot of people will get frustrated because they will press the button a couple of times. No, to really adjust your recoil, you got to start pressing this thing maybe 15, 20 times in one direction while you're firing to really see a difference. Now, what's really going to throw people off is when you are if you got your rapid fire on and you're using an automatic weapon, it's actually going to kind of throw it off a little bit. Now, depending on the weapon, it may be good, better, or worse. Just remember that the rapid fire is not really meant for the automatic weapons. So if you use an automatic weapon, your anti-recoil may just be a little haywire. So you really want to test it with a pistol or a semi-automatic weapon. And this doesn't work on like pump action shotguns. I mean, your fire rate is probably better without it, but for your standard pistols and your single semi-automatic weapons, it's going to be pretty dope. If you have rapid fire and ADS strafe mode, it makes it tremendously hard to actually center your shots. And what I mean by that is because even though you can set your anti-recoil, like for me, when I have the ADS strafe fire on and rapid fire on, it doesn't matter which weapon I have. It's way better with the semi-automatic weapon, but as you're strafing, your angles are changing, so it's really hard to dial in how good your recoil is, because while you're strafing, your profile is changing all the time. So if you're not going to use strafe mode, you should be able to see your fire rate really well. Yeah, I mean, that's all you really need. But once you dial that in, which is going to be a little of a headache and it's going to take a little time, you're going to go through a lot of ammo, you should be pretty good. You can set your other profile, your second profile if you'd like, and you would be good as well. So let's continue down. I kind of went through this mod menu last time. You can set up your second profile the same exact way, or a completely different way for a different game style that you want to do. It's pretty easy. So I have my left auto scan. Now, to me, one of the best features or the best mods for this game is the steady fire. And the reason why I like it so much is because even if you have an automatic weapon, the steady fire will literally steadily fire the bullets one at a time in like a really well timed shot pattern. So say you have an automatic weapon, it will literally just go pop, 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 like that slow, depending on the weapon you have. To me, the advantage of that is, so sometimes you're peeking, right? Like in Rainbow, you're peeking. So you're peeking the corner and you're waiting for somebody to pop around that corner or come through the doorway. What we tend to do sometimes when we are anticipating somebody coming through, or when we see somebody peek through, is with an automatic weapon, for example, you see them coming, you hit that fire button, and your firing is like, it's hitting center, but then it's going off target. The anti-recoil is not working very well. It's not that good. So your shot goes off target and you're like, shit, you're trying to recenter. With this steady fire, oh my God, it literally stays on target the entire time. The only downside to that is try to get a headshot, because if you're just hitting the body, remember, it's going to take a couple hits to knock them all the way down to zero. So the Achilles heel to that is, if you don't hit the head, if you don't get a headshot, you're more likely to die if you're just using the steady fire. But what I realize is that it really gets it's really proficient when you're trying to get those 1 or 2 shots, and you want to get them on target without screwing up your anti-recoil, without screwing up your shooting profile, especially if you're trying to aim center mass or you see somebody peeking. Like, you can really take advantage of it. And that's why I like that mod the most. Cover fire is really good, because if you don't want to peek, all you got to do, press that button and it'll start blind firing to kind of just get the attention of the enemy. It's pretty dope. I like it. And I have that set up on both. So that's really about it, guys. That's about it. There's other modes that you can do, like auto turbo knife and all that stuff. I don't really use that. It's Rainbow Six Siege. To me, the probability that you're going to get close to somebody, unless you're sneaking up behind them to knife them, is like close to nil. So that's what you really want to do. Like I said, if you're trying to change your anti-recoil settings, you have to do that by holding the left trigger and adjusting your up and down aim, or your up and down recoil, by pressing up or down on the D-pad, also left and right. But it's all going to depend on your play style and whether or not what type of mods you have for your movement on your profile. So again, if you're just going to stay or do crouch fire, you're going to have a, just remember that you're moving a lot, so your profile is not going to stay the same. Also, you want to be able to adjust your fire rate or adjust your recoil based on the wall. So if you're aiming at a wall with a medium distance, you're gonna look at your bullet holes, move over slightly after you make some changes, shoot again, and look at your bullet holes to see whether or not it's actually working really well. And just remember that if you're using an automatic weapon, it's not going to be the greatest grouping. So use a semi-automatic, you're gonna have a better grouping and a better way to know how well your recoil is set. But just remember, automatic weapons, your recoil is probably gonna be, you wanna try to get it as grouped as possible. But you should do pretty well. If you guys have any more questions, hit me up. I try to answer all the comments that I can when I see them. So if you got them, you got the questions, ask them. Well, this is for PS4 as well. It's pretty much the same exact thing, just a different controller. And have fun. This is for Siege, but like I said, this pretty much works with every other game out there almost the same way. Once you set up your profile, you're good to go. You just have to make sure you choose your profile correctly. Now, to set up this controller manually, it is a headache. It is really, really a headache. So much of a headache that I don't even bother, because literally it's literally just too easy to pay the $15 to get the damn the mod pass and do this with clicks of a button. Load the profile on your controller and go. All you got to do is hold down the mod button like I showed you and switch to your profiles, and that's it. When you're doing the manual process, it's such a pain in the ass. Trust me, it's not even worth it. But there is a manual mode that you can use depending on whatever game you're using. You can adjust your settings, but like I said, trust me, it's not fun. Don't even attempt it. But yeah, it's really easy with the mod pass, super simple. Just follow these directions. Like I said, check out my last video where I go more in depth. This one should explain specifically how to, like I said, this is to explain specifically how to adjust the anti-recoil and get it working for you guys, and how to switch profiles. Switching profiles is easy. Once you get it down, you won't even think about it. All you'll want to do is make your changes in your mod configuration, and that's it, man. It's super easy. It makes the game really fun and really challenging as well, because you have a better profile setup. Basically this is like a macro. I know people say it's cheating. It's not cheating. There's a difference between mods and there's a difference between cheating. Most people associate the two as the same, but it's not. You're not going to get banned from using this on any game, because you're not actually cheating. You're not using parameters of the game that are only that should only be accessed by the admins or the / the creators of the game. So when you're using wall hacks, when you're using what do they call that? Like the auto fire, where it automatically locks on, to fire and get headshots and all that crap. When you're doing stuff like that, those are things that only mods, or not mods, but the admins or the game creators have access to. Those are cheats. All right, these are mods. These are button configuration mods. There's nothing illegal about you aiming down sight and strafing, because that's a legal parameter of the game. Even if you wanted to spam crouch, that's a legal parameter within the game. You can spam crouch on your own. This just does it for you. It's a macro. Auto ADS and firing, like all these crouch firing, rapid crouch fire, like all these things are regular functions within the game. You know, once you stray outside of that, by using like auto headshots and all stuff, you're using cheats. To my knowledge, I don't even think you can use cheats on the consoles. If you do, you probably have to have like some physical mods to your Xbox, as well as some software mods that I'm not aware of, or it's not really widely spread or aware of, so on the net. So I have no idea. But I kind of feel like if you're gonna cheat on the game, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's dumb. But you can use these macros to basically help you kind of streamline your gameplay a lot, and make it a lot easier for you to make those adjustments. So with these mods, you still have to be able to learn how to shoot, learn how to aim. So this is not an unfair advantage at all. You know, like I said, this is merely streamlining your skills that you have currently, and you still have to elevate your gameplay. So if you suck at shooting or suck at aiming like me, you just have to keep working on that. But these mods will help you get that first aiming fire down. So anyway, I've been babbling too much. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this video is somehow enlightening, answer some of your questions. If not, like I said, ask them below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Peace.